Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing on Wednesday, the 2nd of April, 2025. Starting off with the synoptic picture here, you can see nice and open over the UK. This was midnight last night. Moving through today, you can see we've still got this high, moving slightly further out to the east, but still majorly centered over us, reasonably high pressure between 1020 and 1024. We've also got some lows up over Iceland and down coming in from the Azores. So clear weather for the next few days, but potential for some frontal systems later in the week. Satellite picture today, as you can see by looking outside, completely clear skies, very nice, and it's a quite high UV warning today. So chilly this morning, but hopefully going to warm up a little bit later on. And the current rain radar shows nothing that's going to affect us today. And the Met Office forecast, we'll just run that through, appears to confirm that. Looking to the local TAFs now, starting with RAF Odium. They're saying at the moment 06010 knots, cab okay. But then between 9 and, well, I should say 10 and 7 this evening, 070, 18 gusting 28 knots. And that's the general theme for today, is it's going to be very, very windy, increasing within the next couple of hours. And we'll have a look at that shortly. Farnborough then, saying much the same, beginning around 10 knots, cab okay. And then later on, sort of mid-morning, seeing 15 gusting 25. So not quite as strong at Farnborough, but still getting up there. The upper winds then, looking just to the south of us here, at 1,000 feet, we've got 070 at 35 knots. And to the north, we're getting 25 knots easterly. So sticking with the trend there and confirming with windy here, reasonably brisk northeasterly flow. And it's that northeasterly element that will cause a few issues as well, with some turbulence over the trees. The local Met Office forecast, again, tells the same picture. Nice clear skies, up to 15 degrees, and a reasonably high UV, up to about 4 on the index. However, by sort of just after lunchtime, 17 gusting 32, 33 knots. And if that is to be believed, that could probably stop a lot of play today. Temperature then, so looking at the GFS, giving us around 14 degrees, which is more or less what the Met Office agrees with, and a dew point of around 5. This is the view out to the west from Lasham here, very nice. You can see nothing to affect. Windsock actually looking quite slack there, which is good. Look at the weather station. So the maximum gust we had in the last 5 minutes was 16 knots. We have had 20 already this morning, and there's been a general upward trend. So we'll monitor that, but it does appear to be conforming with what the forecasts have suggested. Looking at sky sight, they're suggesting potentially a bit soarable today, which is nice, although I would contend that any thermals there are will be chewed up quite significantly by the wind that's forecast. But potentially up to 2,500, 3,000 feet QFE, peaking around about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And sky size wind forecast, again, much the same, saying actually a mean by mid to late afternoon, 2-meter wind of up to 20 knots, gustings at 29. So very much consistent across all the forecasters today is the strength of this wind. Meteo then, these are the maximum forecast gust starting at 10 o'clock local. And as we cycle through it, you can see down in our area here, we're seeing around 26 knots. And as the day progresses, increasing towards 30, and actually beyond 30, 32, 35, around about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So well, I'll come through the clubhouse. We'll have a discussion about what the plan should be today for training. But I do suspect that this wind is going to be a problem. But we'll be ready to go if the weather allows. For no times today, just two locally to affect us here at 26 and 28. 26 is Waverley, that's flare firing, and 28 is Ash Ridges. Looking at the Odium cross section here, no significant cloud throughout the entire day, which is very nice. We do have a warning in for strong winds, and they're saying again, exactly as the other forecasters have suggested, east northeasterly, gusting up to 30 knots later in the afternoon. Glider bookings, we've got our two K21s for our courses. We have two K21s and one K13 for booked flying today, and there's a K13 on the casual list. There's also a K13 booked for trial lessons, of which there was one, but I've spoken to the office already about that, and that has been cancelled. There's some availability on the single-seaters, and we have 7 on the casual list, so if we do fly, we'll need some instructors to come out and help with that, please. And the simulator is available as per usual. One movement forecast today, 10:30 local and extra 300s arriving. That shouldn't cause us any issues. He'll do an offset approach and then land on the main runway. If he comes in at all, I suspect that will get cancelled. So the general situation, we've got high pressure over the UK with very gusty northeasterly winds. High UV, so if you are outside, even if you're not flying, it's probably worth sticking some sun cream on or covering up. The runway 09 today, grass, beg your pardon, cables on the grass to the south, and we'll aerotow on the north, and be ready for to launch when the cable or tug arrives. And as the sort of main theme of this briefing be about wind, please be aware of a likely very steep wind gradient and wind shear, especially as you're coming in over the trees on 09. And make sure we don't land or taxi on any of the disused runways shown in red here. And this is our airfield setup. So winching from the south, aerotowing from the north, and I'll come through shortly. We'll have a discussion. And if we do fly, let's make sure we keep it safe and enjoy ourselves. Thank you very much.